This is Breakfast with Peter Barr on ABC Great Southern.
Thanks very much, Lauren Smith, for our news, and hello to you. It's a very significant day today, I guess particularly for nerds, and I mean that in the nicest way. It's a term of endearment. It was 60 years ago that the sci-fi TV show Doctor Who first aired in the UK. So that was November 23, 1963. So a significant program celebrating a massive milestone. It has been on our screens for a long time, as I say. There was this period where it wasn't. So I want to talk about that period where it wasn't, basically, because it came back with a vengeance in 2005. But what has kept the show on our screens and in our lives for 60 years? Well, let's ask Doctor Who enthusiast David Innes. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Peter. Happy Who Day to you.
Yeah, and to you as well. How long have you been watching?
I've actually been watching probably in the time that you wanted to talk about, because I actually got into it in perhaps the worst time to be a Doctor Who fan, which was the 90s as a little spotty primary school kid. Whilst everyone was into Spice Girls or being on the Venga bus, I was watching the Five Doctors.
That was a 20th anniversary, 25th anniversary, wasn't it?
The 20th anniversary, had it on an old creaky VHS. In fact, that was the very ironic. That was the first story I ever watched, which, you know, has a whole lot going on.
So you you got into it when it wasn't on the TV?
No, I was like, the quintessential weird kid who watched that thing that nobody else did. And I feel like not much has changed since then.
So what's kept it on our screens? What brought it back?
Well, what brought it back, there's a great book called The Long Game, which talks about almost every year since it was cancelled, the BBC at one point or another was almost about to bring it back. It was almost about that. And then eventually the right people came together. Jane Tranter, who was the high up in BBC drama, was at a cocktail party with Russell T Davies, and they were like, maybe we should bring Doctor Who back. And he was like, yes, I would love to. And with Lorraine Heggessy as well. And the three of them put together this idea that we finally got this wonderful series back on the air.
Yeah, we've got a lot to thank Russell T Davies for, haven't we? Now, he brought it back, went away, has come back as the showrunner. He's the man who's going to take it forward, isn't he?
That's exactly right, yeah. And nobody knows for how long, but we're all very grateful that he has.
Now, there's been a few other significant things alongside Russell T Davies returning to the programs as the showrunner, a man who clearly has a passion for it. But that relationship with the ABC, we spoke about it a little while ago, earlier this year. It has now ended because of an arrangement between the production company and Disney Plus. So it will be screening on Disney Plus from here on in. What do you think this means, and Russell T Davies back, for the future of the program?
For a start, it's actually not the first time it's been taken off the ABC, would you believe? Actually, the ABC found the show unprofitable in the early 70s, and it wasn't until like the Doctor Who Club was like, we want it back, and it was brought back in the late 70s, and it became, famous for everyone growing up. For me, this series being put on Disney Plus means that it's going to have a much wider audience. It's going to appeal to a whole generation of people. And you know what? The future isn't written in stone yet. Who knows? I'm sure there will be deals in the future where it'll come back on the ABC or other platforms. But no, I'm very excited for its future on Disney.
What do you expect to happen? We know that an actor by the name of Ncuti Gatwa will assume the role as maybe the 15th Doctor, who knows these days, after David Tennant, who has already played the role, has another crack at it.
Exactly right. Yeah, we're all very excited for Ncuti, and it was a great bit of genius, really, that came after just an ad hoc conversation between David Tennant and Catherine Tate during lockdown, saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun to come back and do it again?" And then suddenly Russell says, "Oh, marvelous! Let's go and make some specials with them." And here we are.
So, what has been for you the golden era of this long-running program, David?
As someone who is a fan of both classic and new, that is one of the hardest questions, splendid chaps, all of them. But in terms of getting the series back in popular mainstream, it has to be from 2005 onwards. I distinctly remember, Peter, being in a Kmart when I was like in my early 20s and seeing the line of Doctor Who toys and going, where were you when I was a sad 8-year-old?
So no doubt you'll be glued to the program as it airs. Where and when now, David?
Yeah, it will. Well, it has just been announced that it will be on Disney Plus at the equivalent of 6:30 British time. So it should be available for people to watch early morning Sunday, this upcoming Sunday on Disney Plus.
Okay, that's the specials with David Tennant, perhaps the greatest of all. Let the debate continue. For 3 times and then the new series. Good on you, David. David Innes on ABC